My hands were still shaking when I found that card, lying right there on my front mat, like it had dropped out of thin air just to remind me nothing in this world is ever safe or finished. It wasn't the cheap pastel front or the peace and joy nonsense printed inside. No, it was the scrawl I knew better than my own. Happy birthday, Evelyn. I never left. Look in the basement. 20 years. 20 damn years I'd lived as a ghost, mourning a man everyone else wrote off as a headline, a tragedy, a distant memory. But that handwriting, it set something on fire inside me. Or maybe it was just old grief, finally snapping. You ever notice how a life can look whole and solid until one crack runs right through it and suddenly it's all you see? Let me tell you about the crack that split mine. Before all this, my world was quiet. Some might say boring. I was Evelyn Carter, lived in a neighborhood so neat it hurt your teeth to look at it, just outside Maplewood, Oregon. My husband, Richard, was the kind of man who never left an empty coffee pot or a dirty dish behind. History teacher, lawn freak, creature of routine. We'd been married since forever. Had our daughter Amanda, off at college, smart and stubborn as they come. Weekends were for farmers markets, pizza nights, the same damn movies, the same worn-out jokes. I used to think that was enough. Comfortable, safe. But maybe safe is just what you call it before the fall. Looking back, I guess the unraveling started slow. Little things. Richard coming home late, brushing me off, hiding behind long days, and just need a walk, Ev. I wanted to believe him. Wanted it so badly, I ignored the silence spreading out between us, stretching thin but unbreakable. Then came the anniversary. 24 years married, and I'd circled the date in red marker months in advance. I got all dressed up. Navy dress, even a swipe of lipstick. Felt ridiculous, like I was playing house. Richard didn't show. Not for dinner, not for the call from the restaurant, not even for the sinking pit in my chest. He walked in after 9, shrugged off my questions like they were gnats. "It's today?" I could have screamed. Instead, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried into a towel, biting back the sound. Next morning, gas station carnations showed up on the table. I hated carnations. And yet, I forgave him. Or tried. Told myself it was just a rough patch, that every marriage has its dents. You know what's worse than fighting? Not fighting at all. Just letting the quiet swallow everything. Summer rolled in. Richard got even stranger. Out the door every night. For a walk. No more asking if I wanted to join. He'd stand on the porch just breathing in the dusk, or maybe holding his breath. And I kept hoping, kept making excuses. Then, one morning, June 21st, 2005, he says he's going for milk. Never comes back. Car found by the river, keys and wallet still inside, wedding ring gleaming on the console. No note. No body. Police called it suicide. Friends murmured about secrets, midlife, stress. But Amanda, my girl, she clung to the hope he'd call, that maybe her dad had just lost his way. And me? I lived half alive. Stopped hosting, stopped cooking. The house filled with silence, dust, and casseroles from well-meaning neighbors. I'd sit in Richard's old chair, watch the shadows crawl across the ceiling. The world kept turning. Mine just didn't. That's how I spent 20 years. Haunted, hollowed out, drifting from day to day. Amanda got married, moved east, started her own life. I stayed behind, still trapped in the day Richard walked out. Never cleaned out his side of the closet. Never went down to the basement. Told myself it was just clutter. But really, I couldn't bear to face it. I became one of those women you cross the street to avoid. Gray hair, 1,000-yard stare, wandering the supermarket at odd hours. People pitied me. I let them. Then, this card. That's what sent the past clawing its way back. For hours I just sat, holding it, reading that handwriting over and over. I never left. Was this a prank? Had Richard somehow survived? Or was I losing it for real this time? Finally, as the light faded, I found myself standing at the basement door, flashlight in one hand, the other trembling on the knob. The smell hit me first. Dust and old secrets. My footsteps sounded way too loud on the stairs. Boxes everywhere. Holiday junk. Old schoolwork. Then, I saw it. A patch of wall in the far corner. Too clean. Too new. I pressed. The panel gave way with a pop. Behind it, just a box. Not much, but heavy. I dragged it out, breath caught in my throat, like I already knew what I'd find. Photos, letters, ID cards. None with Richard's name, but everyone with his face. A woman I'd never seen, kids hugging him like he was their whole world. Papers, tickets, rental agreements. He'd started over. He'd built a second life. While I was here, freezing in time, he was someone else's dad, someone else's husband, alive and smiling. It's a strange thing when grief turns into something hotter, sharper, betrayal. I couldn't breathe. I sat on the basement floor for what felt like hours, just unraveling. I thought of all those years, birthdays, holidays, the silence, how I'd mourned him, loved him, grown old waiting for a ghost. I didn't sleep that night. The box sat on my table, humming with secrets. By morning, my tears were gone. I was numb. I was angry. Mostly, I was done being the victim. I hired a private investigator, Denise. She barely blinked at the story, just took the evidence, said she'd get back to me. 10 days. I marked each one on the kitchen calendar, the same way I'd once circled anniversaries. In the meantime, I started living again. Just a little. Cooking real food, walking outside, throwing out his old things. Not for him. For me. Each day I got a little stronger, a little less invisible. Then, the call. Denise had found him. Richard, now calling himself Jonathan Ellis, living in Minneapolis, white picket fence and all. Married, 2 kids, a black lab named Tank. There he was, grinning in the photo like the world had never broken. My husband, the man I'd buried in my heart for 2 decades, was alive, happy, and lying to everyone. I didn't scream, didn't call Amanda, didn't burn down the house or go on a revenge spree. No, I got practical. Saw a lawyer, gathered up every piece of evidence, cleaned out the basement, turned it into a reading nook, finally claimed that space for myself, made backup copies, locked them away. This wasn't about payback. It was about finally taking my life back. And then, one sunny afternoon, I asked to meet him. Neutral ground, a bench by the creek in some city park. I got there early, let the wind whip at my hair, felt my heart thudding so loud it hurt. He showed up, gray, older, smaller than I remembered, sat down like he was lowering himself onto a minefield. For a long minute, we just sat. Then he said, "I don't know how to begin." I looked him dead in the eye, voice steady. "You already did when you left." He tried to explain, excuses, regrets, new responsibilities, pressure I'd never understand. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I listened. And when he was done, I stood. I forgive you, but I'll never forget. And I walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't let him see my face break or my shoulders shake. A week later, his new wife found the documents. He vanished again, just like before. But this time, he didn't take my world with him. I'd already rebuilt it, piece by piece, brick by brick. Sometimes justice isn't fireworks. It's a quiet kind of power, the kind you don't even notice until you're already free. So tell me, would you call that justice?